Algeria is a tale and a moral. Its tale differed from all the tales told. Its historical events carried many lessons for all generations. A tale that was not written on paper like all tales and stories. Rather, it was on the remnant of its valiant children. As the ink wasn't an ink, rather been the blood pumped from the hearts of its sons and daughters, that until this very moment runs in the bowels of its land. A tale whose number of pages is as equal to the remains and sacrifices of the Algerian people. 1.5 million pages, one to the other, that carried sacrifices and lessons for those who pay heed.
أقسمنا بالوفاء لشهدائنا الذين ضحوا بأنفسهم من أجل نصرة هذا الوطن.
شرف حمل لقب المرأة العسكرية هو تثمين لكل المجهودات اللي قامت بها المرأة الجزائرية منذ حرب التحرير إلى يومنا هذا.
Ostentatious she is with her roots, as the history immortalized her and others of our blessed land brave women, and marked her greatest stances, and embodied the loftiest meanings of sacrifice and self-abnegation. A revolutionary, a patriot, defied with her courage the most powerful military arsenal in the world at that time, and learned from its shameful history that Algeria is my land, my pride, my honor, and the home of my grandchildren to come. For the families and dwellers allowing their daughters to join the armed struggle and sustain their land was a matter before which all beliefs collapsed, as they were the brave free women, the sisters of those valiant men. Our fierce ladies came out with their silk braids from their homes and from behind their veils, defying the oppressive colonialists, carrying their weapon with their fellow men in the battle in which the land's righteous realized that there was no way to live in dignity except for the armed struggle against the fourth most powerful military arsenal in the world at that time. With a sacred and a lofty goal, all the tribes of our land rose up, each with what they had, each with what they could, men and women unified, old and young, so our revolution, the conditions of inevitable victory fulfilled. And here, the actual role of the Algerian woman started, as she believed that freedom is a goal that must be achieved, certain in the depths of her soul of the heavy cost of independence. She realized that the price would be her partner, her children, her brother, so she sought to morally support them and encourage them to join the National Liberation Army ranks up in the mountains, because in her eyes they are a symbol of chivalry and heroism. The Algerian woman had an extremely vital role
as she performed her revolutionary duty toward the usurped land with pride. She saw in this an opportunity to unleash her latent energies, so that she multiplied her military activity to take on many forms and styles, as she was a female guerrilla who carried out operations inside cities wearing the Algerian hayek. She was assigned extreme dangerous operations and missions, just like the commando man, destroyed enemy centers, police districts, and the areas inhabited by settlers, placed bombs and explosives, carried secret documents, weapons, and shells, spread terror and anxiety among the French enemy, which made France allocate the most horrific means and methods to torture her. The list of Algerian female guerrillas who terrorized the enemy has expanded. There are those who became famous and whose heroism aroused the admiration of the entire world for their stances and steadfastness. She was the messenger who accurately carried out confidential and reliable tasks. She was able to deliver information and provide the revolution leaders with news. She guided the Mujahideen. She hid weapons. She brought supplies of food, medicine, and clothing. Despite the enemy's vigilance and keenness, she was a phantom that could not be grasped. She was the soldier whose delicate limbs were adorned with the military uniform. She aimed her weapon on the battlefield, nonchalant of what she might face, of slaughter, torture, and abuse from the enemy. She carried the rifle and the machine gun. She demonstrated her courage and bravery in struggle and sacrifice. She showed that she can use weapons and engage in battle, and face to face fight the enemy. Her role was not limited to the military struggle. Rather, she enacted prominent and extremely important roles. She was the nurse who bandaged wounds, stood by the Algerians in distress. She received the rebels, provided them with shelter, cleaned their clothes, prepared their food, and hid their weapons, and conveyed them to safe places. She also worked to establish communication between the revolutionaries and their leaders, as well as her prominent role in prisons and detention centers, where she withstood the inhuman torture methods practiced by the French colonizers, without distilling even the slightest information. And she was able to make the voice of the oppressed revolution heard on the various internal and external fronts. Our three ladies entered history in defiance of the colonizer. With their beauty and charms, they were able to inflict some lessons on the shameful history of France, despite subjecting her to all kinds of inhuman torture. And what the enemy realized with its military arsenal, its brutality, and its colonial power, that they are facing free women, birthing resilient warriors, steadfast on the covenant, just as their man. The march continued after independence, as Algerian women demonstrated their growing awareness of their society through their participation in all stages, from the Liberation Revolution to the present day, and they were able to overcome the challenges imposed by reality, and their role continues to grow day after day, entrenched in our society.
تحظى بشهادة تقدير من طرف رئيس الجمهورية وباقة من الورود.
On the military level, People's National Army High Command worked to invest in the human element through high-end formation and training, as it opened the doors of its higher schools to women in line with the major transformations that Algeria has witnessed, especially with its openness to industrialization and technological development in all fields, including the military field. Military women did not reach their current positions in the military institution out of nowhere, but rather thanks to a decision that offered them the opportunity and a determination that enabled them to prove their worth in our various armed forces. And today, they continue their path in various fields and with a high degree of openness, which their goal was ensuring equal opportunities between men and women in military training and career paths. What the Algerian woman has achieved, especially within People's National Army's ranks, displays an opportunity to review the strides and achievements that have been made and attained, in terms of empowering her with all of her rights and making a strong mark in various military fields. Models of pioneering women who combine knowledge and scientific competency on the one hand and benevolence and psychological care on the other, and between taking risks and facing challenges and engraving new chapters of triumphs and victories.
Mr. President, you come to know that ordinary armies have homeland to live in, but we have Algeria living in our hearts.